Okay. Thought we may have had a little bigger crowd.
Yep. Ready?
Yep.
Okay, I call to order the Board of Adjustment meeting for the City of Washington on Tuesday, May 4th, 2021, to order. Roll call?
Roll call, okay. Gwen Montal,
Here.
Kevin Creedy,
Here.
Lloyd Meisner,
Here.
Susan Harms,
Here.
Jason Pellin,
Here.
and Sal Maniaci.
Here.
Okay, will everybody please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We had a meeting on March 30th. Would anyone like to make a motion to approve the minutes?
I will. I'll make a motion.
Any seconds?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, those carry. Okay, tonight we're gathered for file number 21-0403, and Sal is going to explain it.
Yes, thank you. So I'm going to give you a little bit more history than I typically would on this. You probably noticed in the staff report, there's a little bit more detailed because there's multiple applications. I thought the easiest way, this had to go to the planning and zoning, city council, and then before you all. The goal was to have planning and zoning first, have this in between, and then city council. We had to postpone that, which was not a problem. City council did review the zoning and the preliminary plat. They'll just do the final plat at their next meeting. But this is a little bit more of a unique situation because we did a code change back in 2017. So this subject property is the Hanover Subdivision on West 9th Street. So Clay Street is just to the west here on top of the hill. This is an old aerial. Obviously, this is all we have from our GIS system, but this road is in. About half these homes are already in here. And they're wanting to expand to this western area. So there's these 3 lots here have not yet been built on. And so the developer came to us well over a month ago now and said, hey, you know, we're interested in adding 2 more lots to this subdivision. They were approached by the neighbor here about selling, so about half of this property here to be developed on. And they wanted to know the best way to go about that because this property, I'll pull up a zoning map, this purple here, it is zoned, is still zoned senior community district. So prior to 2017, we had a separated planned residential district that was specifically for a senior community development, which by code meant it had to be 55 years of age and up, and then it had higher density allowances and different setbacks that were permitted in that zoning district. In 2017, when we completely overhauled our entire zoning code, we realized that was really not the most effective way to have that type of development. We added a new planned residential district, which allows for someone to come in with their own complete, unique design that may have, because of topographical issues, because of the unique size and shape of the property, they could ask for, with their zoning, a very specific plan. And that's really what a senior community district allowed for. And also, after these were built, we didn't have too many of them around town. I think 5 total that were zoned this way. To be honest, when someone files for an occupancy inspection, we don't ask what their age is. And so it was hard for us really to ever even enforce any of these. It's really done on a private civic level that the development and the neighborhood can have their own indentures. That's something that's 55 and up. And that's when most of them have that written in there anyway. So we removed that zoning district and had the new planned residential district. The developer came to us and said, you know, we want to add these 2 lots and add a stub street. You know, what is the best way to do that? And we looked at a couple of different options. You know, we thought about maybe getting the entire property, the entire development and the new portion rezoned to this planned residential, or even just a portion of this. Our new planned residential is a little bit more stringent than it was when it was just senior community. You have to have at least 1.5 acres, so they couldn't do it on just the expansion. And then the problem with doing this entire development, a lot of those homes and lots have already sold, and we can't force anyone to rezone. If you know, they're perfectly happy the way it is. The developer, you know, has some lots left here, but they're not all adjacent to one another. And so it was difficult to just rezone a portion of the development. And so it was actually from our recommendation that we really thought that the easiest route to go was to rezone the new portion to this R1B, which was approved already, to be, so this yellow is R1A. It's just a larger lot, single-family residential. It's 10,000 square feet. R1B allows down to 6,000. All of these lots here are between 6,000, 7,500. They get bigger down here at the bottom. And so if they got to that R1B, they were able to match this existing development just with a different zone district. So this is just what was rezoned. Again, this is just all this. I'm going to show you the whole presentation that I showed council so you get a bigger picture. Obviously, the only thing we're here to discuss tonight is the front and rear yard setback. But you can kind of see this area highlighted is what they had already gotten rezoned to this R1B. Council did approve that 2 weeks ago. And then you can see the existing lots here and how they are a little bit different in size than what you saw on the other R1A lots, because they are denser, and that is what we allowed previously. So they are requesting to add this stub street. The Planning and Zoning Commission did approve this plat. I know it looks like here that this road is not going to extend all the way. It will actually, the infrastructure will extend further, so those two houses will get access to that road, obviously. And it just comes off of this cul-de-sac. They do not need a new turnaround because our fire code allows anything less than 150 feet to not have to have a hammerhead or cul-de-sac, so it met the fire code there. And then the width of this street also met the code because we allow 30-foot streets with parking on one side as long as there's less than 10 units off of the 30-foot portion, which obviously there's only going to be, this one has its own driveway, so there's only going to be 4 homes on this extended stub. So that's just kind of the proposed layout they wanted. But when they came to us and said, hey, you know, the lots we're proposing are going to be very similar to what was already in here, but that senior community district allowed for 10-foot rear yard setbacks without a variance. That just, they were permitted that. And they actually got a variance when they built this whole subdivision. They did go to the Board of Adjustment back in 2015, I believe, late 2015, to do the 18-foot setbacks off of the front there, to move those up a little bit closer. Because of that 10-foot rear, they wanted some of them to have long decks that were larger, and so that way they could scoot the houses up, still have room for a one-car driveway, and this portion of the street does have parking on both sides of the street. So these homes do have extra parking here. And so in order to have this expansion here and have it match what they had built there, 3 things needed to be done. They needed to get a rezoning approved, which is what Planning and Zoning and Council approved, get this the subdivision plat amended to show this stub, so there's no longer a lot here, it's just added up here, and then 2 more added to the south. And the third thing was to get a variance to allow for the 10-foot rear yard setbacks and 18-foot setbacks in the front. And so, again, it is a variance to our code. I can understand why this, you may look at this and say, you know, it's not a hardship. They are just using the land they have here. But the reason we recommended approval of this really over anything else was that it is 2 lots that they are adding to the subdivision that does match the existing development. And I think there is an argument to be made that it's no fault of their own that this zoning district does not exist anymore. They could have went to the city council and asked for that planned development. They would not need a variance. They could have just shown a very similar layout, but because of the fact that half of the subdivision is already sold off, they didn't have the authority to rezone all that. So I know it's kind of convoluted, but we did go to planning and zoning. That did pass unanimously on the rezoning and the plat. The goal was to go to council and say, Board of Adjustment already reviewed the variance, and have council be kind of the last step. But we explained to them that, you know, we had to move it and move the final plat. They had no problem with it. They did vote unanimously to approve the rezoning and the preliminary plat. So really now the last step is here tonight. If you're following in the paper a lot, there was quite a bit of opposition at those meetings. We did send new letters. Gina sent them to those neighbors. And I know they got them because I got a phone call today about the timing of the meetings. So you may not just see all the neighborhood here today because it did go to council at that point and get approved. And this is kind of just a 2-lot expansion of the existing subdivision. So that's where staff stood, and the developer's here to answer any questions you have as well.
Okay. Is anybody here to represent the applicant? Hey, I didn't see you. State your name.
My name is Kurt Understall. I'm the applicant for this development. And Sal did a very thorough job explaining it. Just to reiterate a couple of his points is, we had approached Fran, or actually Fran approached me this time, but back when we laid this out, she had a large 1 acre lot. So in the city of Washington, they used to make a lot of deep lots. And we took the fence down for her, and she said, I don't know if I really want that ground anymore. It's a lot of maintenance. She said, don't even put the fence back up. So we never did put the fence up. Well, Joe, who represents SK, has sold lot 4, and Fran we're telling her, and she said, I might be interested in selling you that half acre. So what we did there is put that L in, which we feel it spreads out everybody down there. It adds 2 more lots, but in quantity of acreage, it adds 2 lots on 21,000 square feet, which is like a 10,000 square foot density. So lot 6, which is really, lot 4 and lot 6 are the 2 that were already permitted. So the setback on 6 that butts to the KC detention basin, 5A and 6 butts to the KCs back there. So we're showing 6 reconfigured, if you will. If in his earlier slide showed it like a pie-shaped lot. So make a long story short, and I know I'm getting winded here, but we feel it's better for them. I think a lot of the residents didn't understand that in R1A, your side setback is 6 feet. The building on 5B will actually be 12 feet off the line, but in theory, if somebody wanted to build back there, they could be 6 feet off the line in R1A. So,
Yeah, that's a good point. I will reiterate that. A lot of the comments we heard from the neighborhood were about how close it was going to be to these property lines right here. But that's not what they're asking for a variance for. R1A already allows a 6-foot side yard setback. So the houses that are going to be here could already be upwards of 6, and like Kurt's saying, they're going to build further than that. And that could be when that was explained at the last meeting.
yeah, so I think they were
But isn't
confused.
this R1B?
Yeah, but they both have 6-yard side yard setbacks.
Yeah, so
6 foot.
So basically, I think he said 15. It might have been 2016 when we actually were in front of the city council, but this current board allowed the 18 and 10 variance at that time. And again, that's basically what we're asking now, because we don't have the ability to do it in the old district through the planned route. So.
Okay. Anybody have any questions from the board for Kurt?
I just have a quick question. So on here it says for 3 homes, but in essence, you're really only adding 2. You're just moving one am I
That is
trying
correct.
to understand his explanation right?
Yeah,
So
I know.
you had 3 around there, and then you're pulling one over and adding 2.
You are correct. We're actually only adding 2 more because we lost 5. Now we're
on that
calling
little
it
pie
5A, B, and C.
So are we going for 3 of the lots, though, are changing, or just 2?
So 3 of the lots, and that was my apologies, whenever I was looking at it, I said, yep, it's 3 lots, but in reality, this lot here is technically just moving
Kinda swinging
south,
over.
and then adding one here and
One
one
across the
here.
street.
So it's 2 additional lots, 3 of them are changing, 4 of them are actually changing in shape, but these 2 were already granted approval of the variance and that, so really it's just these 2 on the north and south.
Because on here it said 3, and I was like,
Yeah, that was
that's all right, I just wanted to make sure.
5A, 5B, 5C, I just counted the 3 in
That's
my
fine.
head, so,
Making sure I
yeah.
understand.
Okay. Other questions?
That the houses at the back end of the lot, they're 10 foot off the line?
Actually, no, Lloyd, the houses are number 6 would be 16 feet 5, and the 5B and 5A will be 22 feet 4 off the back, proposed.
To their yard.
To the actual property line,
They were here, yeah.
to the property line, it'll actually be 22 feet 4 inches, and the one that already has a 10-foot variance, if you would deny me, 6 could be built the old way, at 10 because you allowed it, but we're actually going to be 16 feet 5 under the new arrangement because now we don't have a pie shape, we're square, we can slide it up and move it off the line. And the other two are 22 feet 4 to the building, okay? But I want to caveat that, my builder's here and you can quiz him. He wants the 10 because of the deck covered porch thing. It's a semantics thing with, we actually had one down in the pie that we built a deck out of fireproof materials that the city would allow, but when we build over the line, then we got to make it fireproof. So it's just the semantics of,
Okay.
it's a patio with a
Like a awning or
awning
cover
on it,
type.
if you will.
Yeah.
So, but the actual building is 22 feet 4 inches.
From there.
But we're asking for the 18 and 10, which is what we asked for in 17.
Okay,
Questions, anybody?
that clears that up.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kurt. Is anyone here to speak besides Kurt in support of? Okay. Anybody here to speak in opposition of the proposal? Okay. Anybody here have anything else to say?
Nobody here is in opposition. Does that mean they're okay with it?
Well, we sent a letter for the reschedule, and I know it did go through because we did, I got a call about it today. So like Kurt said, they may have gotten all their information they needed at city council. So,
Okay. Do you want to read it?
yeah, if you're ready, I can read it. Okay.
Anybody else opposed or you're
I think
good?
we're ready. I'm ready.
Good to read it?
Okay.
Okay.
Whereas the board does find and determine that the property in question located at 1222 West 9th Street is within the city limits of the city of Washington and is located in R1B Single Family Residential Zoning District. And whereas section 405.050A area requirements, which requires a minimum depth of front yard of 25 feet and 25 feet in the rear. Whereas the applicant is requesting a variance from these requirements by proposing an 18-foot front yard setback and a 10-foot rear yard setback located at 1222 West 9th Street. Now therefore be it resolved that the request to vary the front yard setback to 18 feet and 10-foot rear yard setback, provided that all other ordinances and regulations of the city of Washington are met. The city engineer is hereby directed to issue a building permit for such dwellings as described in accordance with the resolution of this decision. Jason Pellin,
Yes.
Kevin Creedy,
Yes.
Lloyd Meisner,
Yes.
Susan Harms,
Yes.
Gwen Montal.
Yes.
Okay. It has passed. Thank you.
Congratulations.
That's the only thing I
Okay,
have.
anybody want to make a motion to adjourn this meeting?
Motion.
Second.
Lloyd and Creedy, so moved. We're adjourning this meeting. Thank you. Thank you all.
Yeah, I thought initially it was that they were going to butt so close to their property line when I was reading it in the paper. You know, I think that's what they were upset with initially, wasn't it?
Sure
Going to be so close to their property line. I mean, they probably didn't want anything built there, but since it was sold. Yeah, if I own it, I have the option of doing what I want with it.
Well, like you said, it was the planning and zoning, those other meetings were where you really wanted to,
A couple of times.
you were gonna try to prevent it. We're here just talking about the setbacks, that's all.
Correct.
They all came then.
They realized that the main concern, I really thought they were coming. What's that?
It's Susan.